o mamoru means protect you. Mamoru is to protect, kimi is you. Tame, now this one comes up a lot in this song, so tame, if you add it to the end of a phrase like kimi o mamoru, which means to protect you, if I add tame at the end of that, it means for the sake of or in order to do this thing. So kimi o mamoru tame means to protect you or in order to protect you. Kono chi ni is kind of an unfinished thought. Japanese does this a lot. The verbs always come at the ends of the sentences, and they can leave the verbs off, and by context, you kind of know what they're saying anyway. So kono chi ni, add in your mind kita or yatte kita at the end of that, which means came or arrived. And kono chi ni kita means like I arrived at this country, at this land, at this place, at the earth. So the whole sentence as a thought on its own is I came to this earth to protect you. Kimi to deau, the whole phrase by itself means to meet you. And it doesn't mean like to meet up with you for drinks, it means like to meet you for the first time, or like a fated encounter to meet you. And then it has tame at the end, so in order to meet you. Umareta means was born, so I was born in order to meet you. Mezameta shunkan, Mawari-hajimeru prism. Mezameta means awoke. Shunkan means moment. So mezameta shunkan means the moment which I awoke. Mawari-hajimeru. Mawaru or mawari, the root of the verb, means to spin. Hajimeru, if you add that to the end of a verb, it means beginning to do the verb. So Mawari-hajimeru means begins to spin around. Purizumu is prism, a borrowed word. So the prism is beginning to spin around. Kimi o ai-suru tame ni今、君を愛するため生まれた. Kimi o ai-suru. Ai-suru means to love. So kimi o ai-suru means love you. And then you add tame to the end of that. So in order to love you. And adding ni to the end of that, tame ni, it's kind of the same thing as tame, to be honest. So don't worry too much about that particle ni. Ima means now. So right now, in order to love you, it's kind of an unfinished thought on its own. The second line is going to combine with that and complete the thought. Kimi o idaku. So idaku is to embrace or to hold. So kimi o idaku would be to embrace or hold you. Tame, so in order to hold you. Umareta, again, I was born in order to hold you, and also in order to love you now. That kind of forms as a complete thought. Uso mo shinjitsu mo. It means both lies and reality or the truth, because uso is lie, shinjitsu is truth. Subete is everything, all of it. Jibun. So jibun is one of those interesting pronoun-y things. It can mean myself, it can mean yourself. It usually means really oneself. It's just in everyday conversational English, we don't usually use oneself. It's very like formal and proper, right? But jibun really does mean oneself, because it doesn't always mean I or you specifically. So jibun no naka means inside oneself. And usually from context you can tell if I'm saying inside myself or inside yourself. But in this case it's kind of vague. So when I translated it, you'll see in my translation later, I translated it as us instead of me or you, just to make it more general. Jibun no naka ni aru means like it exists or it is within us, in this case, oneself, right? So uso mo shinjitsu mo subete, like both, like all of the lies and all the truths, like everything, it resides inside of us. Kokoro means your heart, soul, or mind. Okizari is to leave something behind. So okizari ni suru means it becomes a verb. It's to leave something behind. And then instead of suru, it's shiteiru, which so it means like am doing it right now, present participle form of suru. So kokoro okizari ni shiteiru means am leaving my heart behind. Put that in brackets. That's one big thought. Hibi. Hibi is days, or the days that this thing is happening. So the days of leaving my heart behind. Now, put that whole thought in brackets. We're not done yet. You add a ni to the end of that. Ni makenai. So if it's ex ni makenai, it means makenai means I'm not going to lose, or to not lose, or to not be defeated by. So X ni makenai means I'm not going to be defeated by X. So, kokoro okizari ni shiteiru hibi ni makenai means I'm not going to be defeated by the days of leaving my heart behind. That's a bad translation. You'll see a better translation in my translation below. Check it out. Next part's easy. Yasashisa comes from yasashi, which is kind. So yasashisa means kindness. Itoshisa comes from itoshi, which is tender, loving, fond feelings. So itoshisa means fondness, tenderness, lovingness. Moichiro means once more. Torimodosu is to retrieve, to get something back, and torimodoso is either the imperative form, like a command like get that back, or in this case it's more like the let's do this thing. So let's regain kindness and tenderness once more. And now we're on to the chorus. Ayatsuri ningyo. That means puppet, but the name of the anime series is Saber Marionette. They use the term marionette, so you could use marionette here, but it's puppet. Now, something interesting happens to this puppet. We add na to the end of it. And if you've taken elementary Japanese, you've probably heard of na adjectives and i adjectives. So there are adjectives like yasashi is one, it's yasashi-i, it ends in an i, and that notes it's an adjective. But then there's also na adjectives. A na adjective could be kantan na, like kantan na koto, it's an easy thing. It ends with na. So it's basically noting that it's an adjective. Well, ayatsuri ningyo is a noun, but since we're adding na to the end of it, you're turning it into an adjective. So it's not like the puppet, it is puppet-like, or like a puppet. That adjective is attached to mainichi, which means every day, daily life. So daily life, every day, that is like a puppet. Put that thought in brackets, add no, which is like an apostrophe s, and then nakade. So no nakade means like amidst, or inside. So amidst the days where I feel like a puppet. Zero to mugen. Zero means zero. Mugen is infinity. So zero to mugen is zero and infinity. Put that thought in brackets, and then add a no for apostrophe s. Hazama means like in the gap between things. So zero to mugen no hazama means like caught between zero and infinity. Now put that whole thought in brackets, because there's an o after that, so that means a verb is going to happen to the concept of being caught between zero and infinity. Mayotteru, that's what's happening to it. So mayotteru means I am lost. It is the active present form of mayou, which is to be lost. So I am lost, I am roaming lost in the gap between zero and infinity. Karamata means entangled, ito means thread or threads. So karamata ito means like entangled threads. Put that thought in brackets, o, so a verb is gonna happen to that. Tachikiru. Tachikiru is to like break free, to snap. And then tachikiru chikara, chikara is strength. So tachikiru chikara means the strength to break free from the threads that entangle me. You add wa to the end of that, so we know that we're going to expand on this thought of the strength to break free from the entangling threads. Kimi no kokoro no naka ni. Kimi no kokoro is your heart, right? No naka ni means inside of, so inside of your heart. Mada, still. Nemutteiru means asleep, so it's still asleep inside of your heart. What is still asleep inside of your heart? The strength to snap free from the threads that entangle you. And the threads in this case, if you're thinking marionette, puppet, the strings, right? Feeling good? All right, we've got half a song to go still. Hang in there. Nukumori is warmth. Kanjiru is to feel. So nukumori o kanjiru means to feel warmth. Tame ni, so in order to feel warmth. Namida means tears. Wasurezu, okay, I don't think we've come up with this grammar rule yet on one of my singing videos. So wasureru, with a ru at the end of it, means to forget. If you drop the ru and change it into zu, it means to not forget. It's kind of the same as wasurenai, which means to not forget, but it's just slightly different the way that you apply it, especially if you add ni at the end of it. So wasurezu ni, Wasurezuni kind of turns the concept of not forgetting into an adverb. So wasurezuni ikiru. So ikiru is the next thing that come after that. It means to live. So wasurezuni ikiru means to not forget about it while you live. But to live in a not forget about it kind of way. Like it kind of makes it into an adverb. Ikiteku is the shortened version of ikite iku, which means to live and like to go on living, to continue living. So in order to be able to feel warmth, you need to live your life while not forgetting how to cry. Toi means distant, kyoku means memories. So toi kyoku, distant memories. Nimo, so also inside or also within distant memories. Kizami komareru. Kizamu is to like engrave something, and so kizami komu is to like engrave it in there. Komareru, because you're changing the komu to komareru, that means like it is happening too. It's not I am engraving something, but something is being engraved. Passive tense. What is being engraved? The shistemu, which is system, borrowed word. Hohoemi is smiles or laughter sometimes. Torimodosu, we had that verb before. What does it mean? It means to retrieve, to reclaim. Tameni, in order to. So in order to get smiles back. Kimi to tomo ni, that phrase means with you, alongside you. Aruite iku, again, it's that te iku form of the verb. So aruku means to walk. And so aruite iku means like to walk on, to continue walking. With you, kimi to tomo ni. And I'm going to do this in order that I may retrieve smiles. Ai is love, uragiri is betrayal. So both love and betrayal. Ai mo uragiri mo is both love and betrayal. Onaji kazu dake, this is an expression of itself that's used a lot. So onaji kazu dake is like, literally it means having only the same numbers. And then hisondeiru comes from hisomu, which means to like lurk. So it's lurking around in same numbers, in the same quantity. What is lurking around in the same quantity? Love and betrayal. So there's just as much love as there is betrayal lurking around. Hito o shinjiru koto. This itself is a big phrase. You'll see it a lot in shoujo manga and in songs and stuff. So hito is person, people, mankind. Shinjiru is to trust or to believe in. And then adding koto to the end of that turns it into a concept. So the concept of having faith in or trusting people. So put that thought in brackets. Ni okubyou ni naranai. Okubyou ni naru means to become afraid or to be afraid. Okubyou ni naranai means I will not become afraid. So what will I not become afraid of? Trusting in humans, in people. Humans kind of make sense in this case because they're robots, but yeah. Masugu means like focused, head on, like that. Mitsumete, masugu mitsumeru is like this. Just like staring head on, like with focus. Ashita is tomorrow, but it often means the future, and in this case it means the future. So ashita o kaete yuko. Kaeru, in this case, is to change. And then again, it's that te iku version, but now it's te iko, which makes it again that imperative / let's do this thing. So kaete iko is like let's change this. So ashtawu, let's change this means let's change tomorrow or let's change the future. Karakuri ningyo. This is similar to ai-suru ningyo. Ai-suru ningyo, like it literally means a doll that is manipulated. So you think like a puppet, specifically a marionette where I'm pulling the strings, right? Karakuri ningyo, karakuri is sort of like a mechanism, so it's more like a mechanical doll, like a robot. Like they both kind of mean puppet, but slight differences. So karakuri ningyo, I translated that one as robot. So no, so the robot s apostrophe s. Hitomi is eyes, and then there's another no, so the robot's eyes as one thought in a bracket, apostrophe s. Sono oku means like deep within. And because it's sono, I'm assuming that the singer of the song is not singing about her own robotic eyes. I assume that she's singing about somebody else's robotic eyes. But that's not necessarily the case. It's a little ambiguous. So deep within the robotic eyes. Umareta means something was like rigged or engineered. Yume is dream. So umareta yume means like the dreams that were like rigged, engineered, constructed inside of you. Umareta yume ni kokoro ga yureteiru. So kokoro is your soul, and then yureteru means like it's shaking, and it often means like it's faltering, like it's a little unsure, or it's a little anxious about what's happening. So your heart is anxious about the dreams that are inside of you that were manufactured. They're not really your own dreams, right? Somebody else put them in there, and that's why you're faltering a little bit. Your heart's feeling a little anxious, like this isn't right. Sabitsuita means rusted. Neji is like a screw. So rusted screws, verb's gonna happen to those rusted screws. Stesaru means to toss away. And then yuki is courage. So stesaru yuki is the courage to throw things away. The courage to throw what away? The rusted screws. Then there's a wa at the end of that entire thought. So we're going to expand on that thought of the courage to toss aside the rusted screws. Boku no kokoro. Now, Lime, the character that Hayashibara Megumi, the singer of the song, voiced, she speaks with boku. And it really confused me at the time. It still kind of confuses me because boku is a personal pronoun that is generally used by like softer boys, sometimes men, but it really is considered more like a boy, like little boy way of speaking. Like boku. Oftentimes you'll call little boys boku, like, "Doshita no boku?" And it's like, what's wrong, little boy? So it's weird that she uses boku, but at the same time, not exactly because she's not human. Yeah, and I noticed Hamasaki Ayumi started using boku a lot as her personal pronouns in singing, and interesting. I like it personally because I like the sound of boku. It's very soothing and it's fun to sing, more so than watashi or atashi, so I'm cool with it. Anyway, pronouns! So boku no kokoro means my heart, my soul. De, so something's gonna happen inside her soul. Mo, in this case, means already. So already inside of my soul or heart. Mezame is to wake. Hajimeteiru. So again, it's that verb and then you're adding hajimeru to the end of it, which means that it's beginning to verb. So mezame hajimeru means beginning to awaken, and then mezame hajimeteiru means like it is awakening. It is beginning to awaken. So the courage to toss aside the rusted screws is already beginning to awaken inside of my heart.